Inside Xbox, the show that debuted this past Saturday and has a lot of people, maybe upset or happy. Either way, there's a lot of mixed opinions about the show, opinions about how the show can grow and improve and all that good stuff. Well, I had a subscriber hit me up. He asked me, how come I haven't done a video about it? And I said, I didn't really want to, but he was like, come on, let's hear what you think about Inside Xbox, and here we go. So this video is going to be about my take on Inside Xbox, the critiques I do have, the things I did like, and we're going to get into it right now. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And if you missed it, first off, I did a video earlier talking about why Xbox and PlayStation crossplay is never, ever, ever going to happen. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, Inside Xbox, the inaugural episode, 2 hours long, mostly about Sea of Thieves. Now, first off, I'm going to give the things I did enjoy about the show before I go into my little critiques. I felt the production values were absolutely outstanding and top-notch. Microsoft always seems to bring high-quality production values to their shows, and this was no exception. I really enjoyed the look of the show, how they actually integrated what was going on in social media by highlighting what people were saying and giving away controllers and systems and things like that. It really made it feel like a community event when you're highlighting that. And honestly, that was pretty much the only reason why they have to be live. Otherwise, this whole show could have been condensed into, could have been pre-recorded. That community aspect with them putting out in real time people's screenshots or what they were thinking, and Major Nelson kind of sharing and showing off the new Twitter share, like right there on the show, was pretty cool. So I dig the production design. I dig the live aspect that the show was going for it. There's just some other issues I do have with it. I felt the first hour of the show was very slow, had a very plodding pace, and was way too focused on Sea of Thieves. I felt the back half of the show was much more enjoyable, was much, quicker paced, and actually provided quality information. Now, the back half of the show, since it was my favorite, it dealt with the new features that Xbox was bringing to the table, and it actually had a few people from the Xbox team there to explain it. They announced that the Xbox One S and the X were going to support variable refresh rate through AMD's Radeon FreeSync displays, and they actually explained it very well during that segment. They also had another person on there talking about share to Twitter, showing it off, and if you watch my video, you know how to do that. But they did it in a pretty cool way because the show was live, and you got to see Major Nelson's tweet go out to the world, basically. And they had somebody else there to explain auto low latency mode on supported TVs. This segment was enjoyable because you actually got fresh information presented in a meaningful way. Explained in layman's terms for people out there who aren't as smart as the people, building these features for Xbox. So I like that. Even the Seamus Blackley interview with Jeff Rubenstein was actually great. Hearing about the stories about why the Duke was built the way it was and all those different things was fantastic. Larry's interview with the Far Cry guy made me more interested in Far Cry 5. So the back half of the show was great. It was structured extremely well, and maybe because it was the brevity of it and the usefulness of the information presented made it more enjoyable than the beginning. Now, I understand for shows, the jittery of producing a new show, right? Like my first few podcasts and my first few videos aren't the best. You grow and you learn, and I do hope and pray that Inside Xbox grows, takes, constructive feedback of what the show needs to be going forward, and changes and adapts to what it is. Because they went and they just did a deep dive on Sea of Thieves. They had like 5 different segments talking about it. And honestly, going one time in on the Sea of Thieves is more than enough, but you went back into the well 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You had Major Nelson sit down with Joe Neate and Craig Duncan and had this interview with them, but then you actually brought Joe Neate out through like a Skype call or whatever and did it again. It was just so poorly paced with different segments in between, but then cutting back to Sea of Thieves. Like, I get it, it was the first show, right? They need to promote Sea of Thieves because it is the game that is coming out in 10 days, but I almost feel like this show should have been started in January, because then you at least could take those 5 segments of Sea of Thieves, which I felt didn't flow very well, and actually just put one in January, put one in February, put one in March. You know, like, it was just Sea of Thieves overload. And the problem with that is, not that it's going to be a bad game or whatever, it's that everybody knows everything about Sea of Thieves for the most part. An alpha ran for an entire year. People have been playing it for a long time. There was the closed beta, then there was an open beta. People have got to experience a lot of what Sea of Thieves have to offer, so a lot of the information provided wasn't really necessary. They all could have been blog posts. And that's kind of the other issue presented here within the scope of Inside Xbox, is who is this show made for? Is it the hardcore Xbox fan, or is it the casual Xbox fan? Because I feel there's maybe a little bit of disconnect between the expectations both those sets of people would expect. If it's a casual show, if this show is designed to attract the casual Xbox audience, well then, it's too slow-moving, and it's entirely too long at 2 hours. Like, if it's aimed at the casuals. Entirely too long, and it just moves too slow. Hell, people get tired watching E3 presentations, and those have new information, new games, everything's new about E3, and those are like an hour and a half long. This was 2 hours long, and most of it was kind of just fluff. If it's for the hardcore, the ones who live and breathe like Xbox news and information and new features and want to hear about the latest games and all that stuff, but for them, there was no meat on the bones. There was nothing in here that you could be like, okay, like, I get it now. And that's kind of the issue that I took away with the first episode of Inside Xbox. The first half of the show, plotting, slow, too much Sea of Thieves stuff, way too much. It would have been great if they, subbed out 3 of those Sea of Thieves segments with something on State of Decay. And that's another issue here. People are tuning in here to expect more information about things that Xbox is doing, and the mystery of Sea of Thieves, or not Sea of Thieves, but State of Decay and Crackdown and whatever else Microsoft is doing still looms large over the Xbox, right? So people want to know what the future is. So they tune in here expecting to see what, the future of maybe Xbox is going to hold, and all they get is Sea of Thieves news. Sure, you unveil a new game for Xbox Game Pass, CD Skylines, which is a great game, people love it, but it didn't really deserve that whole slot. In fact, I almost would rather have you unveil the entire list of games you're playing or that you'll be getting in Game Pass during the show. That would be cool. Go over the 8 games in video format. You don't necessarily have to tease one and then say, oh, wait, because we can't reveal it right now. It's that kind of disconnect between wanting to please the hardcore but not really having the info because you want to surprise people at E3 and watch that show, or you've sold ad space for State of Decay 2 and get money for selling the gameplay reveal to IGN, and wanting to be this casual show, but those two didn't gel very well. So it's no wonder why hardcore Xbox fans look at Inside Xbox and they just look at it and just say, you know what? There was nothing here for me. I didn't get anything new, and that's why people are upset. And I'm not even really sure if casual audiences would enjoy this. I mean, they're casual for a reason. They buy a couple games a year. I sincerely doubt they're watching, a 2-hour show about Xbox with Major Nelson and Jeff Rubenstein and Graham Boyd, who, by the way, I like all the hosts of the show. You can tell Jeff was a little bit nervous, but hey, it's a live show. I'd be nervous too. But of course, they'll get more comfortable with it over the course of time. But honestly, it needs more work. Was it the best show I've ever seen Xbox put on? No. Was I bored at certain parts? You're damn right I was. About the second time they went back to Sea of Thieves, I clicked to a different thing on my computer and let the audio run. But the idea here is good. Having a monthly show, interacting with the community. It's just they need to resolve the casual and hardcore audience. They need to, go full at one or full at the other. If you're going for casual, the show needs to be 45 minutes to half an hour. It needs to be brief and to the point. If you're going for the hardcore audience, you need to have new and exciting news every single month. And maybe it's just the first show. Maybe, it's just a byproduct of Sea of Thieves coming out and them wanting to advertise it and talk about it, and the fact that they really can't show anything from State of Decay because IGN has the gameplay revealed. That might have something to do with it. But, I've critiqued PlayStation in the same manner when I watched PSX. And I said it was boring because they just brought people up on stage to talk about it. And sure, you know what? That's kind of the same thing that happened here. We did get a behind-scenes look about Sea of Thieves just as we did at PSX about Guerrilla Games and how they made Horizon Zero Dawn or Corey Balog and God of War. And I said that was boring and it didn't need to be there, very much in the same way that Inside Xbox is. The show was, for the most part, at least the first hour, quite boring and didn't need to be 2 hours long. Now, granted, people will say, Rand, Sony told you that PSX was going to be that way, and true, they did. And then I'll counter with, Microsoft told you what to exactly expect with Inside Xbox. They laid it all out in the press release when they announced it. So, all in all, they just need to reconcile who they want the show to be for. If it's casual, if you want the casual gamers, it needs to be short, sweet, and to the point. If it's for the hardcore, you need meat, you need new information, you need new gameplay, you need to talk about things that are coming. And that's pretty much it. I like the host of the show, I like the productions of the show, I will be watching future ones, but this very first one was half a good show and half above a boring show, in my honest opinion. Hopefully they can take all the constructive feedback that people have given them over Twitter the past couple days and fine-tune it and find a strike balance between everything. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to it. I'm about as big as an Xbox fan as you're going to see. I love Xbox, and I'm there. I'll be watching it. I live, breathe gaming news, Xbox, PlayStation, so I'll be watching. I just hope next episode it's a little bit less on Sea of Thieves, maybe more of a deeper dive on some of the other games coming out, more kind of exciting announcements that are actually worth tuning in for, because 2 hours is a lot of time to dedicate to watching something. That's the thing a lot of people don't get. It's 2 hours long. I could have been doing something else. I could have been playing a game. I could have been, doing errands. You need to respect people's times. You need to give them a good first impression. And honestly, the first impression of Inside Xbox wasn't the best. But that's okay, because I'm still going to tune in. There's hopefully progress will be made, and the next episode will be better, and then further episodes down the line will be even better, Just the first show. But that's all my thoughts on Inside Xbox. First half was boring. Second half was pretty good. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and my thoughts and critiques on Inside Xbox. If you did, hit that like button, share it out on Twitter, subscribe to the channel if you haven't or new already, or if you're new, hit the notification bell so you're always notified. And thanks, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow for my Moss review and all that kind of good stuff. Later, guys.